Hello, my name is Layla Reyes, and I'm applying to the Texas Women's University for the Speech Language Pathology graduate program. Something that intrigues me about this program would be from word of mouth. I've heard that the teachers are extremely encouraging to the students and want to help you succeed. That's important for me because throughout my undergrad journey, I did learn how I did have to learn how to ask questions. I typically was somebody that sat in the back and figured things out on my own because I just felt like a burden or that I was bothering my professors when in reality my professors wanted me to ask them for help. They were more than willing to give it, and to hear that the professors at Texas Women's are encouraging and want to be that support system for you, that really helped in, tipping it helped in the tipping point. Another thing that I learned from the Texas Women's University was that the coursework is pretty manageable for being a first time grad student, but also that the cohort is close. The reason these two things are important for me is because graduate school is new to anybody that is going in. Specifically, me, I would be the first student in my family to be going. And to hear that it's fairly manageable is a good thing because it's very important to have a life outside of school and still learn and be able to find your own space. And in terms of the cohort, I'm somebody that likes to have support but also give support. So if I could find at least one or two people to bounce ideas off of and study with, that would just make my experience at this university even better. Something that solidified my career goals in this specific field is definitely, I would say, my undergrad work. I am currently a student at the University of Houston and I will be graduating in May 2026. Um, whether it was neuroscience or phonetics, language disorders, language development, I just learned that speech pathology was so much more than what the naked eye could see. I previously had just kind of learned that you were like a teacher, but you helped people with speech. I had no clue that it went into strokes and the way you swallow. I had no clue about any of that. And I feel that it's very easy for people to just, hear a diagnosis and just stick with it. However, throughout the coursework, I learned that it is so much more and that there is a spectrum to almost everything. In terms of my outside of school experience, I did have a chance to volunteer at an adult daycare center when I was around 18 years old. And through it was nothing but 24-year-olds to 70-year-olds. So it's a very big gap. And within this big age gap, there was a lot of different disorders that the residents had. And I learned how to be patient, but also how to be that pillar for them that when they needed a new face to go to, I was there. I had to help them read and learn how to play bingo, even color. And I feel that geriatrics are very forgotten about. So watching them and being that person for them, honestly, it meant the world. And that is how I knew that speech pathology was where I needed to be. A challenging event in my life, I would say, is more professional, and it would be knowing when to move on. I'm somebody that when I find a home in the workplace, it's hard for me to move on, but it's important to grow and to keep learning. So I was at my last job for 2 years. I'd built a relationship with the managers, the residences, and my coworkers, but I knew that it was the stepping stone I needed to further progress. And I would say I just learned by kind of talking to my managers, asking them what the next step was and how they felt, and then self reflecting and realizing this is what I needed to do in order to progress. Thank you so much for watching.